The Urban Beat with Larry Watley. The issues, the answers. The Urban Beat on Mix 95.7.
The Urban Beat.
And we want to welcome you to the Urban Beat Show. I have a special program that you may be interested in. If you have a computer, or if you deal with computers, or if you're trying to move forward in terms of more knowledge, this program is going to be very important. My guest is Amber Hawkins, and she is the president and CEO of Your Computer Needs of Toledo, LLC. Amber, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for having me back as well.
It's always good to have you because you have a wealth of knowledge regarding computers and social media and cyber security, and we want to talk about that because we're in an era now where people are just hacking into computers whenever they feel like it, and you may think you're safe when you are emailing or texting or talking, and you may not be as safe as what you think you are. How rampant is cyber hacking these days?
Unfortunately, it happens quite frequently. It could be happening while we're talking right now. Mm-hmm. And at the speed of light, faster than the speed of light, you can find everything happening from finding out that a virus creeped into your system to finding out that your computer has malware or spyware that you weren't aware of while even you were surfing on the internet. You find out that someone has your internet address or your internet protocol or IP. Mm-hmm. You have many other things that can include maybe in the workplace. You find out that somehow, some way, you have your sensitive information compromised because someone had the knowledge to get into that workplace system and gather all that sensitive information unbeknownst to you. And it's a very sensitive time in which anybody in the information technology, the IT department needs to hurry and take the precautions they need to protect, need to take now because now the system has been invaded.
Because you can go to, you can have a laptop.
You can.
And you can say, I'm going to go to McDonald's and get some work done and email folks and do some different things. You can go to a public place and get whatever you have hacked from someone who may be sitting a couple of rows down. Am I right or wrong?
That can happen, yes. You need to make sure you have the protection that you need. And these days, it's even beyond antivirus. You need to really get a whole system. Not that the antivirus does not hurt. You still need to have that because you still have everything from the spyware to the virus to the malware, phishing, the phishing, and all of that. You sometimes have to have the whole bundle where even your internet security is protected. You could be going into a coffee shop or wherever you're going to, a public place, have meetings, and the next thing you know, someone who has that knowledge can tap a few keys right on their laptop or even on their smartphone and hack into your system. So do you have protection also for your whole laptop system? Your system. It could be anything, just the laptop. It could be the laptop and the phone. It could be just the phone. It could be even the systems that sync, it's in the car. And if someone is that knowledgeable, they can even hack into that.
Right. There was a while back that someone had, I can't remember if they hacked into my phone or my laptop, and I was able to find the name of the person and I called, either it was my phone company or the computer company, and told them about this particular person.
Okay.
Come to find out that the person was somewhere in California. Got my information. Don't know how it happened, but they also advocate you changing your password on a regular basis.
That's
username
definitely
and all
true.
that. That's a safe way to go too, right?
It's one of the ways that's helpful. And what a lot of people don't understand is, how are you creating your passwords? You can make it simple so you can simply remember. That's true. But if a person is that determined to try to hack into your system, the simpler you make your passwords, you are actually making it easier for that person to hack into your system. They always suggest that when you have your passwords, add the punctuation symbols, like the slash or the exclamation point, the at symbol, the dash, on from there. With some situations, depending on what you're doing, they will let you know how to create your password. And you have to make sure it's safe. And yes, do periodically change it. There was a time it would be considered like every 90 days, but I would suggest even more often than that, because skill set wise, compared to the last time we spoke, people are more technologically advanced. Systems have become more technologically advanced. Even, believe it or not, it was starting to increase at the time. There are now more and more. If you find that, well, how do I do this? How do you do that? Not knocking YouTube, but believe it or not, you can find a lot of help from YouTube, and you have someone who's like hiding themselves so they won't be found, and can tell you how to do everything from create a virus to how to create something to hack into someone's system, and show you how to do it too.
Show you how to create a virus.
That's right, sir.
So now, what's the deal with Facebook now? Because that's now become a problem with people. I think a lot of people are sorry now that they're on Facebook.
A lot of people are. A lot of people are not. A lot of people weren't aware, and they're sorry they're not aware of the precautions that need to be taken. And that's not the time to panic, and this is not the time to panic. In your signing up for these different social media, although Facebook is pretty much the biggest and one of the biggest, with YouTube, with Twitter, LinkedIn, all of the others, when you sign up, you have to make sure that you check your settings. If you do that the very first time you sign up, believe it or not, you will prevent a lot of headaches. So when you sign up for anything, go to your settings, check to make sure that you set your privacy settings, set how people will friend you, set how people will, if they're a friend of a friend, will you accept, will you not accept? Do you have the setting as far as if someone tries to friend you and they don't have a profile picture? Well, in short, we, in the social media and technological world, we pretty much say pic. The collaborations. How do you integrate Facebook with Instagram? How do you integrate Facebook with Snapchat? How you integrate Facebook with some of the other development apps that are out there? In case anybody doesn't know what I mean by apps, I'm talking about the applications. And you have to get that right from the start. In case that hasn't happened yet, this is the time, if you haven't yet, this is the time to go back and double check those settings in all the social media you have signed up for. There are over 300 social media sites. I'm not saying everybody has signed up for all 300, but you have a lot of people that have signed up for a good number of them. You need to make sure that however your settings are, if you haven't yet, go back and check to make sure that they are as secure as possible.
Because there's a lot of people who are, believe it or not, discovering Facebook, older folks, and discovered that they would like to maybe decide they want to be involved.
Correct.
And they'll get on there and have no idea who else is on there, who's looking at what they're doing.
That's true.
I would think it would be important to get help, get someone who knows what they're doing before you even get on it.
I would suggest that, yes.
Call Amber.
There you go. There you go. The other thing on the other side, you do have to take into consideration is be careful what you say and what you post and what you converse and what you instant message and what you Facebook message and what you Facebook call about and when you Facebook video about and what you Facebook live about.
See, you're preaching now.
I'm not a preacher, but I have to make sure, careful, be careful as well, because when it's Facebook Live, it's Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. You're live. This is not a recording. The live will be archived as a recording. Mm-hmm. But when you do Facebook Live or even Instagram Live now, it's live. It's right there. It's that minute. It's that instant.
Yeah.
It's that you are sometimes conversing with someone who's live, although they can't hear you. Mm-hmm. They're talking and you're, commenting, typing out your comments and all of that.
Right.
And you have to be careful in regards to that too.
Because if someone wants to use something against you, they can take whatever you've done on social media, they could doctor it up to make it sound like you're the worst person in the world. They could do whatever they want to with it.
They can doctor it up in a couple of ways. Doctoring up can be everything from, if you post a picture, maybe cropping out part of the picture. Mm-hmm. If there's some comments you made, maybe selecting only parts of the text. Mm-hmm. They can do like a Photoshop type of thing. Mm-hmm. It might be your body and somebody else's face and vice versa, and all of that, and make it look real. Mm-hmm. That's with social media. That's also with, if you get, for instance, spoofing in relation to anything technology on the internet. I'm in the realm of the emails right now.
Right.
You can get an email saying something about, something, your account is in trouble. Make sure you click this link in order to take care of it. And you get that first inkling of, oh, wait a minute, something's not right about this. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, you go with that. Because if you know your bank and for instance, your bank's email, and you know their email address, and you get something from someone that is trying to pretend to be your bank, and you look at the email addresses and you think to yourself, no, that's not the bank's email address. Someone's trying to gather your sensitive information. It can happen anywhere from social media to your email to trying to get information from you through your smartphones, and anything technology can even send it where there's malware on your jump drive or thumb drive. Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to apply for, a credit card or something online, and you're fairly sure it's a legitimate company, mm-hmm. and they ask for your whole Social Security number, should you do that? Should you make a practice not to do that, or does it depend on the company?
It depends, and also you have to be cognizant of your environment. Mm-hmm. When you first signing up for anything, if it's a reputable company, and if you feel okay doing it online, as it's been said before, make sure it has the HTTPS behind that. Mm-hmm. That is to be secured. From that time when we last talked on, people have install software to make extra protection or go into what's called an incognito window. Incognito, if you think about the term incognito, you know, you're trying to
disguise
yourself, right? So people do it that way. People have what's called the VPNs, trying to make sure that their internet address, their IP, is not necessarily detected since we last spoke. So there are those extra measures that, yes, you do need to take. If you do not feel comfortable doing that, you know, let that be known. There are more than one ways to sign up for whatever you're trying to sign up for with a company. And a company should be understanding of that if a person is trying to protect their identity, which is rightfully so.
Let's go back briefly. You talked about be careful what you put on social media, and
Definitely.
it seems these days I think maybe it's because it's a different generation, but people are putting anything and everything about their personal life, their personal feelings, the kinds of stuff that they do. It's almost like they're putting their diary onto social media so that the whole world can see what's going on.
Too much 411, yes.
Okay.
At times you feel like you need to release, and if you think about it, Facebook is kind of like an electronic Dear Diary. But if you go back to the time of when diaries were popular, diaries were meant only for the writer and that journal.
And had a key.
That kept everything protected. Their thoughts they put on there to keep protected. If they wanted to share that information, that was the choice of whoever owned that diary. And whoever they told, they said, it's a secret no one can know. That's why I say be careful what you put. You know, I myself, you know, I have to watch it. I say things on Facebook for anybody who's my Facebook friend, but I have to admit I disguise it because there are some things that are private, that are personal to me, that I'm not going to let it be known. If I need to discuss it further, I discuss it further if I need to with people I trust.
Yeah. Because whatever you put, whether it's Instagram or some of these other social media places, whatever you put there, whether you try to delete it or not, it's still out there somewhere.
Correct, because if a person wants to, the good old friend, enemy, frenemy, whatever you want to call this particular entity called Google. You can Google, believe it or not, and you think something that had been deleted, guess what? Boop. It's right there. You like, how in the world? Like an instance of family reunion picture, a relative of mine was wondering, you know, was that there? And I checked for her, and it was there. But it was posted like several years ago. But, I mean, it's a wonderful picture, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that's just an example to show that what you think you're hiding, you're not really hiding because it's out there in cyber world somewhere.
Yeah. I was watching a news story about a commentator who's currently on the air, and she had made some derogatory comments 10 years ago. But somebody found it and brought it up in the current news. Now I don't know how that's affected her life now or not, but people can dig stuff up that you have on social media. You may have changed in terms of your feelings about something from back then.
Correct.
But they can destroy you just by things that you put on social media.
It's unfortunate, but yes, that can happen. That's why if I advise or if I consult, I train as well to let people know, be careful what you put out there. Be it, there are those who are looking for employment, if that's what you're doing. Be careful, because it was just beginning to come about as a great concern at the time that we last talked about. The question of, okay, if I apply for this job and they ask my Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, whatever links, that's really my private business. I don't really need to let them know that. But why are they asking me that? Because that was at the time, well, if this is not filled out, you might not get the job. But a lot of things happened back then to where it's really, you might as well say, everything from infringement of civil liberties to the question of, okay, are you constitutional or unconstitutional? Are you breaking the code of ethics of your company, and all of that from there? So you have to be careful with that, to even in the company's intranet. But for the company, the intranet is whatever the employees or whoever is working for that company can have access to on the internet. That's not for the public view or for the public, knowledge.
Right.
Anything that needs to be brought out to the public, it's taken care of in the company's intranet first, before it's put out in the internet for the world to see. Yes, it's still worldwide. Yes, it's still public, but it's public to the company, not public to the general public.
Right. I've seen people who have just inundated Facebook or whatever social media with their political views, how they feel about a person, and just put some really controversial things on their social media about a particular person or a particular view, which I guess it's our right. We can say whatever we want to about how you feel, but you
can.
Still you have to be careful that people don't see that and judge you according to what you said about. I just keep my views to myself. You might ask me something, I might say something, but I'm not going to write it down.
That's understandable. There have been situations where it's been everything from tense in the family environment to breakup of friendships to the next thing you know, you have your brother or sister-in-law unfriending you because whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I said before. You have your right, but at the same time, you need to be careful.
Let's talk about your business.
Right.
I want to talk about what you're doing right now. When you your company, Your Computer Needs, what do you provide for people?
What I provide is customized computer training and consulting. Not everybody learns the same, so I provide customized computer training on everything from beginning computer literacy, if you don't know anything about computers at all, to advance in the realms of Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Access, Publisher, the Microsoft family, some other software programs I do know, others I don't. If I don't know them, I will refer someone to someone who knows. I don't, and I still to this day don't want to leave anyone hanging, even if it's not me. Even if it's not me, I still want to make sure you get the help that you need. I consult as far as if a company is purchasing new equipment, what to do, the steps to take. I've expanded also to where not only the computer training is on site, it's also online and e-mobile.
So if I needed some information, some training regarding computers and the like, you would be able to help me with that.
Correct.
Are you able to come to a person's residence? How do you do that?
My specialty is going to the home and training the people on their own computers, laptops, to going to the company, going to nonprofits, going to faith-based. I go on site, or, if a person or business or nonprofit would rather receive their training remote or virtually, that is, a choice of theirs that they can take advantage of. Other things that I do website testing, meaning that I can check on your website if it's performing, how it's performing, how it looks, how maybe it should look. Maybe, for instance, your fonts are too small. They need to be increased. They need to be this particular size font. How is your website page flowing? And I have had a few customers that I'm still honored and surprised to this day. They asked me to do their websites. Now, before anyone jumps on the phone and calls, that's not my forte. I can do it, but it's not my forte. You're not going to get the advanced whatever. You're going to get a presentable, good-looking, functional site with the understanding that if you want more of the advanced bells and whistles and everything on from there, I can refer you to someone. I do public speaking as far as computer and technology topics. I do PDF conversions. I also, with a couple of small contracts in the past, believe it or not, I've done forklift inspections.
Forklift inspections.
Forklift inspections, yeah. So I can do forklift inspections. I can do property inspections with the help of the smartphone, because you have to diversify these days in what you are able to do and provide. I do conference and convention assistance with conventions and conferences. You have to have people sign up to attend the conference, whether they're going to attend in person or attend virtually, how to go about that, the best practices to go as far as that's concerned. And there are other tasks that I can perform. They can go to yourcomputerneeds.net to check out that information.
Right. So you could come to a person's home and spend a few minutes with them on their laptop and be able to diagnose what needs to be done, what's working okay, and what needs to be adjusted, and you can make those adjustments.
Those adjustments, yes, I can make them to the level that I can perform. I have to say that because in the computer world, the technology world, when you say computers, people think you can do everything. No, there are different realms of computers, different levels of computers, different knowledges of computers. There's the side in which mainly I would be considered the desktop, the training. Although I do have some technological knowledge, there are those who are more in the database, network administration, information technology side that will be in their specialties, in their fields. And I usually have to tell people this. You can't just group someone just because they say computer. They can say computer, and although it's its own industry in a sense, for instance, graphic design, it's the use of the computer and laptop, of course, to create, the different flyers and everything that you see. But then at the same time, it's kind of its own industry because it's dealing with the arts, it's dealing with area. Right. And in some ways, it's dealing with, a different type of computer design. There's the computer design where you're designing the components of the computers to, that. Yeah. So it's a very broad industry, and I think it's probably one of the only maybe industries that's broad, but then at the same time it's got so many components underneath it that
Well, we have a few seconds left. I want the people to know how they can get in touch with you.
They can call or text. Didn't have that at the time, but have it now. They can call or text to 419-304-4564. They can email me, Miss Prez, CEO, at yourcomputerneeds.net. If you cannot remember that, you can just go to yourcomputerneeds.net and click on the contact link. You can reach me as well via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, Stumble Upon, and even the company has a YouTube channel. And in addition to that, let me add, as far as the advancements of technologies are concerned, it's not there yet, but Your Computer Needs of Toledo LLC will be accepting payments via Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. I know that term.
Oh, okay. All right. And also the online computer accessory store. I sell computers and accessories from the company's website. It's being updated at this time, but it will be available sometime in May.
All right. Amber Hawkins from Your Computer Needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well.
And thank you for listening to the Urban Beat Show. I'm your host, Larry Wadley. Have a good day.
With Larry Wadley. The Urban Beat with Larry Wadley on Mix 95.7. The Urban Beat.
WIMX, Gibsonburg, Toledo.